Ever felt like you're meant for more, but you don't know what more actually is? And maybe it's not about more money or more success, not even a different life, just more. And it's confusing because on paper, things are fine. You're okay, you're functioning, you're surviving, maybe even doing extremely well. But something feels unfinished. If you've ever felt that tension, that grand desire for just more, this video's for you. First, I want to say something that doesn't get said enough. There's nothing wrong with being comfortable. A lot of people are genuinely happy choosing stability. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with choosing routine, predictability, peace. And that's not settling. That's alignment for them. That's them knowing what they want, and that's amazing. You see, the problem starts when we assume that everybody should want more in the same way. But we have to realize or understand that not everyone is wired for constant expansion. Not everybody wants to chase. Not everybody needs reinvention. So if you're watching this thinking, I actually like my life the way it is, it's not a flaw, it's clarity. But if you're watching this because comfort feels tight, like clothes you've outgrown, well, that's different. Because that might not even be comfort. That might be containment. A feeling stuck situation that can expand. Okay, so how do you know you want more? How does this feeling pop up? Well, the feeling meant for more usually isn't loud. Most of the time, it's subtle. It could show up as restlessness that you can't explain, feeling bored but also overwhelmed, gratitude mixed with dissatisfaction, a quiet thought that says, is this it? And a lot of people feel guilty about that because you think, I should be thankful. Other people would love this life. Why am I questioning something that's going well? But wanting more doesn't mean that you hate what you have. It means something in you is evolving. Growth doesn't always announce itself as ambition. Sometimes it shows up as discomfort. Okay, so where does this feeling come from? In my experience and based on so many conversations I've had with others, that meant for more feeling often comes from exposure. Your surroundings matter more than you realize. If you're around people who dream out loud, have a vision, question norms, create instead of consume, not just talk about money but also meaning, while you're exposing yourself to high-level dreamers. After all this exposure, your nervous system starts to notice what's possible. You start wanting more. Not because you're ungrateful, but because your awareness just expanded. And maybe you might experience a little bit of guilt for wanting more, because perhaps maybe you grew up in an environment where survival came first. Stability was the goal. Risk felt unsafe. Being realistic was praised. So of course wanting more can feel rebellious or reckless or selfish. So then tension starts to rise in your ambition, because all of a sudden you have to unlearn limits you didn't choose. Outgrow the so-called rules that were given to you. So let's talk a little bit about ambition versus alignment, because there's an important distinction. Not everyone that feels meant for more is ambitious. Some people don't want more work, more pressure, more grind. It could just be that they want more freedom, more honesty, more creativity, more space to be themselves. That's not so much ambition, that's alignment. And this is where people can get stuck. They think more has to look like a new career, a bigger title, a crazier life. And when they don't want that, they think something's wrong. But sometimes more just means living closer to who you really are, saying no without explaining, letting go of roles that no longer fit, choosing peace in new activities. Growth isn't always upward, sometimes it's inward. Another thing nobody tells you is you don't need clear goals to be growing. A lot of people wait to feel ready or certain before they move. But clarity usually happens after movement, not before. That meant for more feeling is actually more like information, not instructions. You don't have to act on it immediately. You don't have to monetize it. You don't have to announce it. Sometimes the work is just noticing. What feels heavy now? What feels energizing? What am I forcing that I don't need to? The beautiful thing about wanting more in terms of growth, it can start with awareness, not action. And then this awareness phase feels uncomfortable because you're in between identities. You're not who you were, but you're not who you're becoming yet. And for the most part, people hate the in-between. We want labels, timelines, answers. But the truth is, most change happens here, in the quiet, in the uncertainty. If you're here right now, don't get antsy. It doesn't mean you're behind. It means you're paying attention to something more. So if you've ever felt like you're meant for more, but couldn't explain it, you're not broken, you're not ungrateful, you're not lost, you're evolving. And you don't need to rush that process. Sometimes more isn't a destination. It's a deeper connection to yourself. If this resonated, I would love to know, what does more feel like to you right now? And if you're in that in-between space, remember, you're not alone. Respect to you all for wanting more and having the courage to go out and get it. I'm wishing you all the best. Thanks for listening. See you on the next video.